on the, what is this, the 12th episode of the Redline. I am your host and moderator, Donovan Sharp. Of course, joining me as always is none other than the man himself, the purveyor of the manmindset.com, Steve the Dean Williams. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Shit, I can't call it, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. It's been an eventful week for me. It's been very, very busy.
Oh, that's good. No, I'm sorry. I'm just sure.
I thought you were watching some porno.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That sounded like porn music to me. This is actually episode 13.
Yes.
Episode 13 of the Redline. We're actually looking. Give me a second. There we go. We're looking real good on the split screen, man. I do like this. I love this new software, man. How do you like it so far? Have you used it on your end, or is this the first time?
No, all my shows I do solo, so I just still go with OBS. So I don't have any shows where I have people on and stuff. So
yeah, I use I only use OBS when I do solo shows. But this I like this a lot because you can do like different pictures, and it looks good on the screen, man. It looks real good on the screen. All right. Well, enough of the niceties. Tonight, gentlemen, we are going to talk about the reasons you should never, ever, ever argue with women. If you have a question or a comment, or if you want to contribute to the conversation, 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Again, that is 914-205-5356.
Don, let me know you. I think you can put that on this screen right here.
There we go. I actually just did it. I actually just sent the phone number. Yep, there we go. Wow. So it looks like my Stream Deck integrates seamlessly with the okay, very good. Hokey Bukisa, shout out to you. So what I'm going to do, guys, is we're going to talk to you guys about the reasons why you should never argue with women. I think it's interesting, Steve. I think I may have talked to you about this at some point before, because you're not a guy who argues with women. Now, there are many reasons that we're going to point out tonight in terms of why we should never argue with women. But Steve, give me sort of a Reader's Digest version in terms of, according to Steve the Dean Williams, why we should not argue with women.
Okay, your camera went out.
Yeah. I actually have to take some stuff down.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay. Well, the reason why I never argue with women, because I always put myself in such a high position that I make sure that as soon as we start talking, that I'm drama free. I don't argue. I truly believe my thought process of what I taught was learned about the job, man. You don't argue with the CEO, president, or the CFO of a company.
Right.
You just talk, and that's what I feel like. You don't have to raise your voice at me. We can talk just like this, but you ain't that ain't happening. I'm not. See, I don't want people to think that, oh, Steve just trying to be hard. No, I'm just letting you know I don't do anybody that's going to talk an octave higher than this. It doesn't work that way, brother. So I just believe that when it comes to arguing, I don't even know what an argument is. I know what a conversation is like.
There we go.
But I don't. I know what an argument is, but it's hard to. I don't argue. I handle business. So there's no raising your voice at me, because you're gonna realize as soon as you pop off your mouth, you probably getting kicked out. We done. Because I don't put up with that shit, dude.
Yeah, a lot of women like to argue just for the sake of arguing, and the reason why is because they're women. This is just how they are. What I'm going to do, Steve, is I've got 7 reasons. Okay. My personal 7 reasons as to why men should never argue with women. And I want to get your take on it. I want to know if you agree, if you disagree, if you agree with some of it, if you disagree with some of it. The reason why I like doing shows specifically with you is because even though you and we see eye to eye on the big picture,
yes,
we take different paths to get there. And I like that this isn't a circle jerk. We don't always agree with everything each one of us says. And listen, we can have discourse, we can have disagreements without getting nasty or anything like that.
Right.
I think that's why it's a good dynamic. So the very first reason, according to yours truly, that you should never argue with women is obvious. She won't listen. Okay, listen, guys, women are notorious for talking out of the sides of their collective necks for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? Standing around doing nothing. A thought jumps into their heads and they start running off at the mouth. This is just what they do. They're clueless about where they are, who's around, what the environment is. A thought pops into her head, her mouth automatically just starts, moving almost involuntary. This is just how bitches are.
Yeah.
Now, the same thing happens during an argument or a debate with a woman. But here's the difference. She will not stop talking. Okay. And we've all been in arguments and debates with women over the years. She'll stop to take a breath, at which point you take the opportunity to speak your piece. But as soon as she's ready to talk again, she starts talking again with no regard for what you're saying at all. We call this filibustering. They talk through you. Women will talk over you, they'll talk through you. And if they're talking while you're talking, they're not listening. Okay. But even if she's not the kind of woman who talks over you and actually shuts the fuck up for a change, she's still not listening. Okay. She's not listening to your point. She's not listening to your counterpoint. She's not listening to anything. Women, in my opinion, Steve, women characterize listening. As far as a woman is concerned, listening is simply waiting for her turn to talk again. That's really it, right? They don't care what you're saying. They're not interested in what you're saying. They're just waiting for you to stop talking so that she can start talking again. And when she does, guess what? It has nothing to do with what you just said because she wasn't listening. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think she listens, but she sometimes it depends on her position, and depends on how mad she is, because sometimes they want to listen to see if you're paying attention to what they're saying, when they're bickering or they're mad about a certain thing. But you're right. So most of the time they don't want to listen. They just want to run their damn mouths and things like that, then come up with some type of a punishment for you for not following through on something that they expected you to do or something like that. So no, I really don't have much on that one, but I do agree with what you're saying, brother.
Okay, good stuff, man. We actually have a call already. Let us go to area code 706. Area code 706, you're on live with the Dean and the Don. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good.
I was just calling to say, like, I don't argue with women, like, essentially because I can't punch you. Let's say you're talking about some real stuff and it gets heated, and she can just take offense. She doesn't have to actually get angry and argue back. She can just take offense and act all like victim-y. But like, let's say you and me get in an argument, you get upset. Would you get that upset if we were arguing about something and you wouldn't take offense? You would like actually argue your point, right?
That's exactly right.
And that's why I don't argue with women. I can't punch you.
Yeah, but what does punching her have to? I don't understand. What does abusing her have to do with her disagreeing with something? I don't. That's where a lot of y'all guys, y'all gotta watch what y'all say and how y'all behave and mannerisms.
Here, let me actually correct what the caller is saying. I think what the caller is saying, and caller, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because it could be a little bit of a miss. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, is when you are in an argument with someone, like if Steve and I were to argue out on the street, we do it respectfully. If one of us, if you disrespect another man in public, then guess what? Then there's fisticuffs involved, right? There are consequences to your action. Well, when women argue with to you as if there's no
you there, Donovan? You're breaking up. I think we have a little bit of technical difficulties. Waiting for Donovan to come back on. And we are live here, just waiting on Donovan, talking about arguments. But I will talk until Donovan comes back on. I think some of the important things that y'all have got to be very wary of is how you not only how you're talking on here, because we don't want to ever think that men hit women because they don't get their way in an argument. That's my whole thing. It's never about putting your hands on a woman because y'all don't get along. And that's one thing that I just want to make clear until Donovan comes back on, that that's not part of.
Yeah, sorry about that. My fucking internet just went out. Area code 706. I do apologize for that.
But what is he talking about? Hit? I don't understand the hit thing.
Okay, but what I think the caller means, and area code 706, you got cut off. That's my fault. I'll have to deal with this later. Is what he is saying is that when women argue with men, they do so disrespectfully, right? You cannot, like, as far as men are concerned, you can't disrespect another man, or there could possibly be a fight.
Okay, but you say, see, this is where is my issue.
Okay,
no, not an issue with you, but no, it's a great statement, but that is what I'm saying. You're saying keyword allow. Right.
Gotcha.
So is it her fault that she's allowed to be that disrespectful to you, or is it because you're allowing it to happen?
Yeah.
You see that what I'm saying is that I don't care if you're a man, woman, big fit, or elf. I demand respect. Period. I don't care what you are.
Right.
And I'm not at a point. I mean, when I was younger, back in our day, when we had to fight before the internet, we would fight after 3 o'clock. That'd be it. But because we're in a time right now where everybody's all sensitive and they get hurt feelings. So you gotta be careful about the stuff that you say and care about the things that you do. And what I'm saying is that the problem is that these guys are allowing the behavior to come in from Jump Street, and they're never solving it and fixing it. So what it seems like, Donovan, this is my opinion, it seems like they want to always say, okay, well, all right, she's always running her mouth and she's always arguing, right? Okay, but wait a second. Is she arguing, or are you allowing her to keep running her mouth without checking her behavior, Donovan?
No, I agree. I agree with you. And if a woman disrespects you, this means she has no respect for you.
Yes.
Means, right. Which, exactly. Now, let's say that you were to get into an argument or some sort of verbal altercation with a female that you don't know, right? And listen, we see it. We see it all the time.
Yes.
On the internet, we see a woman getting all in a man's face and da 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 da. Listen, man, like there's nothing. I mean, you can't. I guess that's probably what he's talking about. But the best way to handle. Go ahead, Steve.
But let's look at the first domino.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at her getting in his face. Okay. Nobody's looking at the fact that when she shit tested him, checked his manhood, and all this other stuff, he failed, where she didn't respect him. A woman is just not going to get in your face, Donovan. A woman is just not going to be so mad, so angry where she gets in your face. There has to be a combination of things that have pushed to that point where she feels like she can get in your face.
Yeah.
Where she feels like it, brother. And that's
no, listen, I agree with you, but I'll tell you what that series of events were. And this has actually, believe it or not, Steve, this actually has nothing to do with the individual man itself. It has to do with our society, right? Nick's the Observer says, with men there, and I put it up on the screen, he says, with men, there's an undertone of mutual respect. There are certain things you can and cannot say, or we're scrapping, right? Women think that they have an invisible force field that protects them from harm. So now I agree with you, Steve. There has to be a series of events for a woman to be so upset with you that she gets in your face, whether she knows you or not. But events have already happened in that a woman can assault a man in public and not be arrested, right? If the man retaliates, he gets arrested. and she can have respect, and I don't even think it has to do with her respect for that man. It has to do with her lack of respect for men in general. We can't associate with women. If there's some women out here, Steve, who just don't respect men no matter what. That's the woman with the problem.
Okay, and no, I agree. Look, women, you're right on that. But okay. Women are just not going to walk up to anybody and just pop them in the mouth just for shits and giggles.
No, of course not. I mean, listen, again, not to say that they don't do this on the regular, but in very small instances they do, but not normally.
Right, not normal. So if a woman is putting bodily physical harm on you, and this is somebody you know, then the question I'm asking is, what have you done to make her feel like she can put her hands on you and you ain't gonna do nothing about it?
Listen, I agree with you 100%. If you do not know the female and she gets in your face, that is not her problem. That is a you problem. If a female feels like she can disrespect you, then listen, then guess what? That's at that point, it's game over. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do at that point. Otherwise, you're going to jail.
Right.
There are certain situations where in public, and we see YouTube videos, people at McDonald's, at the train station or whatever, a woman talking to a man she does not know just any old kind of way.
Yes.
Now, at that point, it's not that she doesn't respect that man per se. She doesn't respect men in general. So the best thing to do is to remove yourself from that situation, because that's a no-win situation.
No, new 1,000%. Yeah. Okay. But I'm talking about someone that's in a relationship.
Oh, yeah. If you're in a relationship, and you hit the nail on the head. If your woman, and a lot of people, Steve, I'm sure you get this a lot. Donovan, Steve, my woman did some disrespectful shit the other day. What do I do? Bruh, like, it's already too late. If you're asking me what to do if your woman disrespects you, that means that she's been disrespecting you long enough, and it just happens to start bothering you at this point.
Yes.
If she disrespects you on the regular, at some point she's going to keep pushing the envelope until it's just blatant disrespect. And these are those shit tests you were talking about.
Yes.
If you don't show your woman that you have backbone, then she's going to keep pushing the envelope until her behavior becomes disrespectful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that's that's the only thing, clarification I want people to understand.
Oh, no. Yes.
Listen, I don't, we're in a time right now. We got to be careful about the words we say and stuff.
Yes.
We take things the wrong way. And I was just trying to clarify. I don't want someone to think that we are pushing. You smack a woman or.
Of course not.
No, I'm just, Donovan, you
gotta cover our ass, right?
It needs to be said, even though you and I know it. There are people listening and say, "Oh, well, they're okay with it."
Says you should hit women. Some guys said that. No,
right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, again, that I like I say, Donovan, I do it like the job.
Right.
When I first meet her, I'm letting her know the standard from Jump Street. So now listen, she gets one because she's got a shit test. They're always.
You have to burn her hand on the stove, right?
Right. What I call it is she's got to bite the gold to see if it's fool's gold or real. So that's going to happen. But after that point, and that's just like a company giving someone a warning before they fire them.
Mm-hmm.
Scenario. So don't take my kindness for weakness, but believe you me, I don't need you. You need me more than I need you. Thus, if you are acting up or messing up, I'm done. I can wipe my hands of you because I can find a million like you. So I ain't sweating that.
Here's another thing. If she bites the gold and breaks her tooth, so to speak, guess what? That disrespect is coming because she knows you are fool's gold.
Yes.
That's how that works. All right. Good conversation there. Let's go to number 2. The second reason why you should never argue with women is that women are impervious to reason or rationale. On the off chance a female stops talking long enough for you to get a word in, and she actually listens to what you have to say, okay, we will make a counterpoint or counter argument that is rational, reasonable, and measured, which obviously is exactly what's expected in a debate. When people debate, they're supposed to be back and forth. Here's the problem. Women don't listen to reason or rationale. They hear it, okay, but they don't listen to it. It's as though they're fluent in English until they hear a rational statement. Then all of a sudden, it sounds like you're speaking another language. Now, to be fair, this isn't entirely their fault. And the reason for this is that women are not designed to be reasonable, rational, or exercise rational judgment. So it would be foolish to expect women to be rational during a discussion, debate, or an argument. This is part of the female hard drive. Nothing can be done about that. You add that to the fact that she's not going to listen. Again, your arguments, your points are going to go in one ear and out the other. So again, the second reason you should never argue with a woman is because they don't understand reason or rationale. Women argue with their emotions. What are your thoughts on that?
You took my thunder. Yeah, you just hit it. Emotions. Yeah, the reason, because they're driven by emotions, and that's why I'm always solution based. I'm always trying to solve it, being that Mr. Fix-It. Because she's driven on her passion to. She's even when you hear, oh, you're not listening to me, and then you're ready. Remember, we're dealing with people that are not logical. They're emotionally driven by their feelings and thoughts. And you're absolutely right, Donovan. Based on that emotions, dog. You took the thunder. You go on to 3, brother.
Yeah. Juan Melendez just typed in $5 from Juan Melendez. You can't as far as I know, you can't super chat in here, right? So I think it was just pressing. I think he just put that in so we can shout him out. Like, what the hell? Ay. All right, let's continue. Number 3. The third reason you should never argue with women, her arguments are going to be emotional. Okay? Again, not their fault. You have to understand, guys, women are emotional by nature. So if you make the egregious mistake of arguing with a woman, you need to be prepared for emotional responses. So for example, if you say something like, well, if you look at the sky, you can clearly see that the sky is blue. Her response will be, well, of course you think the sky is blue because you're an asshole and all assholes think the sky is blue. So fuck you. Expecting a female to remove emotion and inject reason and rationale into her arguments without emotion, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, and I think some of the problems is that we're in a time where men are doing the same thing too. They're interjecting more emotions than using logic. So when you have two individuals that are both emotional, it just never turns out right. That's where it turns into a slam drag out fight because there's no logic being taken. But a lot of guys out there, Donovan, feel like, I don't want to argue with her. I don't want to fight with her because it's the only one I have, and I'd rather have half a bitch than no woman at all. So I'm gonna just let her get away with arguing and getting mad, and all I'm gonna do is just, you see on TV, I'm just gonna nod my head and I'm gonna act like I'm paying attention just to get her out of my head. And if you're thinking that, you are the problem.
Good point. We've got a question here in the chat from Tim Allen. He asks us, how can I get over my ex leaving me for someone she was with during our first breakup? I feel like because I wasn't strong enough, I lost a high value woman. Yeah, dude. Listen. And listen, I want to be sensitive because I understand that we're talking about someone that you are that you have emotional feelings for, right? But there are many ways to get over a woman. But the number one way is to keep busy. There are many ways to keep yourself busy. Do projects, exercise, work out, et cetera, et cetera. So are you asking us how to get over her? Because, we can tell you how to get over a woman. But I don't know that that's the question. I think you're asking us maybe how to get her back or how to get... The only thing I can advise you to do in terms of getting over a woman that you've just broken up with is, dude, lift weights, occupy yourself, exercise, read a book, take up, productive hobbies. What say you, Steve?
Well, I got a few things to say. If she's a high value woman, then she expects you to be a high value man. That's probably your strike one. Your strike two, for a lot of you guys, and this is why I always tell you guys, y'all don't understand the pussy between a woman's ears and the importance of sex, romance, seduction, dirty, kinky, naughty, and freaky, and not being boring. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that she left you, but you've got to ask yourself the question: what did that other guy do to make her want to be with him over you? What aren't you? Again, guys, I don't want to feel like I'm always beating you down. I'm just trying to get y'all to see the bigger picture and perspective here. Now she left you, but again, Donovan, what was the reason why she left? I mean, we would love for you to call in, Tim, because it's
Yeah,
hard
give us
to
a call, Tim.
really.
I'm gonna put the number in the chat because I'd like to get a little bit. I'd like to get a little bit more detail.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because he says high value woman.
Right. It's hard. Plus, he said her leaving you.
Right.
Well, this is what I keep telling you guys when y'all sit around and y'all try to pump out, oh, y'all a lion until it's time to be a lion. Remember, as a man, a woman is a replaceable thing.
Yes, she is a replaceable commodity. Not listen, man. And I think, Steve, I think you would agree with this. And don't get me wrong. We love women. We love the way they look, the way they smell, the way they feel. We love all of that. But you guys have to understand that because of the abundance of women and because they're only really good for a few things, because they can only really offer us a few things that we can't do ourselves. They're a commodity. Okay. The more of a commodity you have, the less valuable they are. There are 3.5 billion plus women on the face of the earth. And I know, listen, Tim, I know it sucks. I know it hurts that your woman left you and you broke up. I don't wish a breakup on anybody. Like, I know I've been through all that. But in the future, you have to understand that she's one of a million. She's not one in a million. And when you say high value, to me, I don't know. The way I define high value, Steve, is a woman who looks good, a woman who is sexually attractive, a woman who is obedient, a woman who is feminine. I don't care. I don't give a shit how much she makes. I don't care what she does for a living. If she looks good, cooks good, and she listens good, that's high value to me.
Well, yeah, I think, and what he doesn't understand is leaving. I don't know how long he's been in a relationship. Let's say he's been in a relationship for a year. He lost her 6 months ago. If you look at it, I mean, don't think that her leaving you right now was the final straw. It was she already had it in her mind that she was really getting ready to leave you because again, we need to talk to you, but I talk to a lot of guys who have these problems, Donovan. They don't lead the woman. They allow these women to get away with stuff. They allow them to argue. They allow them to disrespect them. They allow them to check them. They allow these women to tell them what they can and can't do. And then all of a sudden, they just trying to play safe, walking on eggshells because, again, a lot of guys are not used to having multiple women. So what a lot of guys do is they unfortunately take the umbilical cord right out of mom, and then they look for somebody else to put it into and have a mother type son relationship where there's issues and stuff. So I'm just saying, we would need more information, Tim. I mean,
We need a little bit more context.
You definitely need more information because I don't want to tell you stuff without knowing more information. So if you can call in at 914-205-5356, call in. Let's hear from you, brother.
All right. Well said. All right. So while we're waiting on Tim to either call in or to chat in a little more details, let's go with my fourth reason as to why you should never argue with women. She will yell and talk over you when she knows you're onto something. Now, we've all experienced this. And to be fair, both men and women do this. Steve, I think we can both speak to this. But obviously, women are the biggest offenders. Like I said, when a woman closes her mouth and opens her ears and actually listens to what you have to say and digests your arguments, at some point, she'll know that what you said makes more sense than what she said. In other words, she knows you're right. So what a lot of women will do to keep you from striking the death blow, as it were, to win that argument, is that they'll start to talk over you, and they'll do it loudly so that you both think that she can't hear it. It's just like an immature kid. We've all seen this before. You see an immature kid that doesn't want to hear what you have to say. They put their hands on their ears. They're like, ah, la, 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 la. This is exactly what women do, right? And this isn't an accident, okay? Women talk loudly over you on purpose so that she doesn't lose the argument. When a woman starts talking loudly over you, or If she starts to insult you or call you names, guys, the argument's over. As soon as she stops debating the topic at hand and resorts to name calling, just being belligerent, you both know she's lost. But she wants to feign ignorance by putting her hands over her ears and saying la, 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 la. You have to understand, guys, women hate to be wrong about anything. And a lot of times they'll stoop to this particular technique to make sure you don't verbally prove her wrong. So when women start to see that you're starting to make more sense than them, this is what she'll do. What say you, Steve? You're muted.
I'm sorry, I was muted because yeah. To me, you're absolutely right, brother. I mean, a woman. I mean, they will raise their voices and all that other stuff because they want to hear themselves talk sometimes, and it's just what they do. But,
hear themselves talk.
Yeah, they want to hear themselves talk, dude. Yeah, they want to hear themselves bitch, whine, and moan and complain. And when you allow that type of behavior to happen, it just gets louder and louder and louder. But like what they call a gateway drug, like they would say, well, I guess ecstasy or marijuana is a gateway drug to something else. Well, the yelling and screaming is a gateway drug to physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. That's a good point, man.
Yeah, so there's a lot of dominoes that hit when she knows she can raise her voice to her highest octave, and you just sitting there. She knows she's got you, man.
Shout out to Juan Melendez and Al Rafai with the fake $5 and $10 super chats. I appreciate that. They just put in $5 super chat. I love it. I love it. All right, let's move to number 5. My fifth reason. And again, 914-205-5356. That's the number to call. If you guys have, and again, this is a free-for-all discussion, right? So we're discussing why you should never argue with women. But if you have questions about other things, put it in the chat or give us a call. We're more than happy to answer your off-topic questions. Number 5, she will muddy the waters, right? So, for example, you'll say, I'm telling you, Ashley with an I, which isn't really your name because you changed it to sound like you're younger than 43 and single. The reason the sky is blue is because blue light is scattered by tiny molecules of air in the Earth's atmosphere, and blue travels in shorter, smaller waves. So Ashley will say, well, my dad's favorite color was blue, and he beat my mom's ass all the time. That's the problem with me. You guys always want to control us by hitting us because we can't fight back because you're all fucking cowards with small dicks. So rather than making a counter argument to what you said, Ashley with an I brought in domestic violence to change the focal point of the discussion because deep down, she knows you're right. Okay. She knows that you know more about what you're talking about than she does. So again, to avoid being proven wrong, she'll change the subject to something that she can vilify men for that is subjective. And guys, if you take the bait, you'll be arguing about domestic violence, which is something that, number one, cannot be proven without some sort of audio or video, which never happens in these instances because we know that men are all guilty till proven innocent. And number 2, it's open to subjective analysis. Okay. Domestic violence and sexual assault don't mean the same things anymore, right? Domestic violence used to mean beat a woman, beat up a woman. Sexual assault, meant having sex with a woman against her will. Well, these days, if you raise your voice at a woman, she can call the cops and have you locked up for using a threatening tone, which can be twisted to fit the elements of domestic violence. Okay. If you ask a woman for her phone number and suggest that you two hang out, she'll characterize that as sexual assault and go to the cops. Like, bitches are really they really are doing this now. But to get back to what I was talking about, the number 5 reason that you should never argue with a woman is that she will muddy the water. She will change the subject. Steve, how do you handle men you're arguing with who like to gaslight, who like to muddy the waters, who like to change the subject?
How do you handle men?
Yeah, because again, you don't argue with women. So you argue with a lot of effeminate men, but
I try not to even argue with them. It's hard, dude. Okay, the thing about effeminate men is they're women. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like me telling a wall that it's a wall when the wall is trying to argue to me that it's a duck. You know what I mean? It's just it's like I have as I'm growing in the, for over 25 years, I'm starting to learn about this, is that I'm just starting to believe that it's just none of my business what they think, because their thoughts ain't my thoughts. They ain't on my level of thinking. So I'm not here to, I'm not here, and this is like with a woman. I don't have to justify what I do. I have to justify what I say. I'm Steve motherfucking Dean Williams, goddammit. I'm to justify shit to you, Norman, Bigfoot, or Smurf. I have to justify anything, but only to myself. So
there you go.
Like a woman or a guy doing that, you can run your mouth as much as you want, but I just don't have time to talk to somebody who's not even at my level. Now, if you and I are having a disagreement, maybe you and I talking football, we arguing, we have fun argument shit.
Sure.
Taking into account what you're saying. Why? Because you sitting at the table with me. If you ain't even sitting at the table, you're not even inside the room to look at the table, or not even down the street where the table is at, you wasting my damn time.
Listen, it would appear that arguing with women is one large waste of time. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, you're just not going to get anywhere, because women don't operate like men, man. Let's go to my sixth reason. This is actually something that we all need to understand when you're arguing with women, and really anybody else that is unreasonable for that matter. So the sixth reason, according to Donovan Sharp, why you should never argue with women is that you're not going to change your mind. Okay. When someone is engaged in a debate or an argument with someone, it is generally assumed by both parties that both individuals are open to having their mind changed, right? If presented with new information, we as human beings, we reserve the right to change our minds. It's a basic human right. No, this isn't always the case with men or women, but most mildly intelligent, fair-minded people usually go into a debate with an open mind. They understand that they could be wrong about certain elements of certain things, and they are willing to listen to counterpoints to what they think on any given topic. Guys, women ain't here for that, okay? You see, what you guys have to understand is women don't want to get it right. They want to be right. Okay, they're not going to change their minds for any reason. As a matter, listen, I'll put it to you like this. They're not going to change their minds for any reason, but that they just want to be right. Because being right is really the only currency females have these days. Now, most women, most of them, outside of a few orgasms they give us during the 12 minutes that we're fucking them, right? So they got to cling to something, right? There's got to be something they can hang their hats on. Well, being right for a woman, that's like a badge of honor. And even if you do change your mind, guys, she's never going to acknowledge it out loud. She's not going to. Guys, in my 40 plus, I'm 41, I'm turning 42 this month. In my 40 plus years on earth, I have never, ever heard a woman say to me or anyone else, you know what, Donovan, you were right and I was wrong. I never looked at it that way. Have you ever heard, Steve, have you ever heard a female say to you, I was wrong?
Very rarely say they was wrong.
Okay.
Very rarely. It's the only time they see, here's the thing about the apology that's funny to me, Donovan. The only time I get the I'm really, 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 truly sorry is when they really, really, truly realize that I cut their ass off and I moved on. That's when they realize, oh shit, it really hit the fan. He ain't really coming back.
Right.
And it was something that I remember when I was in the 4th or 5th grade. I'm sorry, I've been doing this I remember I've been fucking with women for a minute now. I'm 4th, 5th grade. I remember I was talking to this girl named Trisha Curtis, man.
Damn.
And we were I remember her name. Yeah. And she argued with me, right? And again, I'm learning game already. I started at 9, so I was learning game. So she got mad and she went around the corner, right? I didn't even move. And I looked around the corner, and guess what? She was peeking around the corner, waiting for me to come around that corner. And I didn't move. And that's what I'm saying. See, the thing is, what a lot of guys don't understand about this whole thing is that, look, she's going to apologize, but unfortunately, by the time you apologize with me, Donovan, it's too late. At that point, you either have fallen down the booty call, or you have fallen off the roster, or I might put you on the practice squad to see if I can marinate you back to get you back on the roster. But you'll never be a number one, dog.
Yeah, listen, I get that completely. And for me, Steve, the moral of that story is standing your ground. See, the thing is this, man, a lot of guys make a lot of threats. They like to say, well, if you don't do this or else, right? But as we all say, acta non verba, which means actions speak louder than words. You have to talk with your actions.
Muted. I'm sorry, I was muted. No, I agree with you. Yeah, but see, that's what these great shows are about, teaching you guys that not only do you have an option of talking with your actions, you don't have to say anything at all. Because see, a lot of y'all guys, y'all are lucky. Y'all came up in a time where everybody's a winner, everybody gets a trophy, and y'all came up in a time where there was a thing called CPS that saved your ass. Well, guys like me, we didn't grow up in that time. And that time was like when I was going to Kmart with my mom, she would say, don't you misbehave.
Right.
And I would misbehave anyway. And all she would do is give me a look. And that look told me that no matter how good I behaved after that look, when I got my ass close to that vehicle in that car, I'm getting my ass lit the fuck up. It's also a look, Donovan. It's all what you say. You're right. It can be a word, but it's also a look that you have to tell them, nah, man, you better either shut your mouth or go on. And I'm not gonna hit you. It's just that I'm gonna drop you.
Good stuff, man. Let's move on to the seventh and final reason why you should never, ever argue with a woman is she'll play the reverse blame game. Now, Steve, I know you've heard this before. We'll say, well, this is probably a bad example because you have a very different stance on single mothers, but someone will say single mothers are bad. Well, a woman will say, well, single dads are bad too. Women need to stop cheating. She'll say, well, men need to stop cheating too. Anytime a man makes a claim or an accusation against a woman's character or her tendencies, their knee-jerk reaction is to say, well, men do it too. Doesn't matter what it is. Women have attitudes, so do men. Women don't appreciate good treatment, well, it's because of men. That is their boilerplate response to anything accusatory. This is their go-to technique. What are your thoughts, Steve, on women who try to play the reverse blame game, right? Anytime we say anything about what a woman should do, what a woman shouldn't do, why women are bad, anything unflattering about women, females like to flip it on its head and just insert men.
She can do whatever she wants. I don't care as long as she doesn't do it around me. I gotta tell you, Dom, and maybe I don't have the patience. I don't know. I just don't have the time to try to justify why you need to be with me. I don't have the time to justify why I do the things that I do. Now, it's different, Donovan. You can ask me a question, but if you are talking higher than what you hear right now, Donovan, we got a problem. That's if you remember, Donovan, it was always a thing back in our day. You always watch out for the quiet ones because you never know what they're thinking.
For yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the same thing, man. That's why I don't. And that's what the thing that these guys got to understand is when they begin to have options, you don't have to yell. They're going to get mad sometimes, and sometimes they're going to catch themselves because they know if I continue this behavior, I'm going to fall down the roster or fall off the roster if I continue to do this. So I'm just going to be quiet and call my little boyfriend Twan up, the one with the pink hair. Hey, girl. And she going to use him as a punching bag. That ain't happening in my castle. No. It will never happen in my castle, brother.
All right, so those are the main reasons why you should never argue with women. I'm going to change gears here. I posted something actually on Facebook right now, and I posted the a screen grab of the Wikipedia definition of manosphere. And it says the manosphere is a loose collection of predominantly web-based misogynist movements associated with the alt-right. Now, had a guy on here, Terrence Bryce, that says it's Wikipedia. I don't know why ARC lost his shit over it. The good and bad comes with everything that gets big, right? I just blocked this guy, by the way, because he's just being a fucking asshole. Everybody's like, oh, it's no big deal. It's Wikipedia. Guys, what you have to understand is that not everybody knows what the manosphere is. Number one. Number two, a lot of people rely on Wikipedia to give them their facts. Listen, I know I do. When I want to look up any sort of actor or some sort of information, I use Wikipedia. And if it's something that I'm not intimately familiar with, right or wrong, for better or worse, I'm going to assume that whatever is on Wikipedia is probably close to accurate. This is why ARC lost his shit. Because when people look up, oh, you know what, there's this manosphere thing. What does manosphere mean? Well, Wikipedia is always going to be that very first search suggestion. And when they say that the manosphere is basically misogynistic, they're going to think that we're just a man-hating group. Now, Steve, let me get your thoughts on this, because there are sectors of the manosphere that really do hate women. These are the guys that say, take away women's rights. Just extreme off the wall type shit, right? What are your thoughts on the definition of the manosphere, and what can guys like you or me do to sort of, we're not going to change anyone's mind, but how can we sort of balance the budget, so to speak? How can we let people know that, hey, we are all a part of the manosphere, but not all of the manosphere is the same?
Well, I see what Alan is saying and how he's feeling, because again, like I say, I've never been a part of a seduction community. I've never been a part of a voice for men, a shrink for men. I've never been a part of a pickup community. Never been a part of metal and all. I've never been a part of those things. I've always been on the outside of that stuff. I've never been privy to that stuff. But what I can see from the outside, and I can understand what Alan's saying is that the number one problem is everybody is using the word man in the wrong context. People don't understand man. They only understand what they think a man is. And a man doesn't go his own way. A man doesn't bitch, whine, moan, and complain. I mean, that's where I grew up in that time. So I don't relate to that stuff. And I just feel like you just got a lot of people that all they do is it's like, to me, and I'm just saying for me, what I see is I see it seemed like it's become more of like a woman fear of people doing more emotional whining and complaining like women than men, but teaching guys, it's teaching guys wrong information. And again, I'm not here, I respect what Alan said. Alan wanted to go because Alan's like, it's just like I say, everybody's got their own little faction of, the black guys, like Alan was saying, he was right. The black guys, all they complain about is how bad black women are.
Sure.
And then in turn, they still want to date black women instead of just being solution-based. Say, okay, but the problem is it's the level of black women I think they're messing with. They see, people don't understand, and I just take that little pile, that circle right there, is that there are different groups of black women. They're just not chicks in the ghetto and hole in the wall. It's just that all you're going for are hole in the wall chicks, but you want to complain when you got gamer girls, nerds, geeks, sci-fi, cosplay. You got women in all different races and stuff that are not bad. So they always generalize. You got that going on over there. Now they're always problematic, not solution based. You got those metal. You know how I feel about them. I'm just saying my opinion. I don't believe a man goes his own. Where the hell you going? And so what they're doing is they're making these dudes more into asexual. Instead of taking responsibility for their actions, they want these guys to go their own way and not mess with women. I don't even understand what that is. And then you got those guys that don't even want to jerk off with the group. And what you got to understand is that the reason why I don't understand it is because I was taught what a man is from the originators on the street. These guys that have been on the internet that have been creating all this stuff, Donovan, they have gone to the street, and I've talked about this before, just like how Elvis did it. Elvis used to go to the churches and stuff and watch black people dance a certain way, move their bodies a certain way. He picked all that information up. He started doing it, and they thought he invented it, right? That's just how it is.
Right.
But what's happening is that a lot of guys are going to the streets and cherry picking things from the street.
Ooh.
Cherry picking it and calling it game and calling it this. And then when things aren't working out because they're cherry picking it, then they want to sit around and have a blame women party. It's all and I'm not saying the Me Too. Like, here's the thing. What I don't understand is how in this Me Too movement, my boys got over 15 to 10 women that they smashing everywhere. How is it that they are going through women like a hot knife through butter and not having problems, issues, or anything like that? But again, I'm on the outside, Donovan. I mean, I'll be on my soapbox, but I'm on the outside.
Oh, you're good.
So I don't understand how these guys are, but I are starting to understand that they are learning generic things from the internet. The streets don't do that. You have never heard a gangster, Italian gangster, a Japanese motherfucker for the Yakuza, a pimp, a Mac, a player, a hustler, anybody from the streets. You don't hear them complain about women. Women are not a complaint because women are perks.
That's it.
That's from the streets. So when you're talking about what you're talking about, I understand where Alan's coming from because Alan came from a time. See, and I kind of talked to Alan about this today. We are the guys who came before the internet. We are dying out because the ones that came before the internet knew the game and knew the streets and knew what everything was about. These new guys, 30 years in, they think what they learning is game, but yet they are complaining about women. The game ain't even about women. So why are you complaining about them? But see, that's where all these factions come in at, and they can't have any agreements because then that goes back to the feminine side with women, Donovan.
Yep.
Because you put a bunch of women together, why women don't like each other? Because they all catty.
Yeah, they're catty, they're competitive.
Yeah, all that stuff. But what you notice on the streets, the hustlers, the pimps, they all got along. Yeah, they went for power and things like that. But when it came to women, man, we got along because we knew what was, and we didn't care because we knew women were replaceable. These young men don't know that because they have never learned the proper part of the game, and the game ain't they're making it about something the game isn't about. They're making it about women. And yes, don't get me wrong, Donovan. There are Me Too movements and there are bad stuff that's happening, but what does that shit got to do with me?
Right.
What does that got to do with me? It is none of my business what she does and how she feels and how she thinks. What is she bringing to my table? But a lot of these guys don't get that because all they're doing is learning what? Tricks, gimmicks, manipulation, deception, lying. These guys think Donovan, it's gotten to a point where these guys think that if I tell a woman what I want from her, I'm going to sound thirsty. What the fuck? Yeah, you can't express yourself to a woman?
Wow.
And it's like, well, I don't want to be thirsty. But see, that's how the game goes. And then you wonder why these women are messing with these guys. You wonder why, because like we talked about before, Donovan, women love dick. They love dick more than we do. They love sex more than we do. And these guys can't understand that, why they're not giving it to them, because women don't want to fuck with women. That's the truth. And that's what's going on. But on the other hand, you also got these guys that soiled the game, like the Elliot Rodgers and all these other guys who think how they came in. The Elliot Rodgers, wasn't he like PUA hate or something like that? What, didn't he come in with like a PUA something?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's my whole point. The manosphere should not bring in manipulative, lying, victim blaming type factions and call it manosphere, because that's not manosphere. And now I'm sorry for being on my soapbox, but I think that's why Alan, and I can't speak for him, but I think that's why he ain't fucking with it, because he's like, it's not about man. It's all about get having a cuddle party and complain about women. That's what it's already become, man.
Yeah, my apologies. We're having some serious issues with the chat here in StreamYard because on YouTube, Steve, we have a $10 super chat, a $5, a $50 super chat, and a $24. Like, guys are like dial list. Let me shout you guys out here.
Read those. Yeah, let's read those.
Yeah, shout out to Dialer String with a $25 super chat. He also donated a $2 super chat. Mr. E1976 with the $5 super chat says donating to the tip jar. Thanks for all you do. Much respect. Hoki Bukisa with the $50 super chat. I think he's the guy who called in a little earlier. He said, I wish I could have explained it better over the phone, but I see arguments as going down three paths. Number one, actual respectful argument like an adult and admit when you are wrong like a man. Two, disrespectful argument that ends in violence. And three, women. So that's he wanted to clear the record on that. Al Rafai with a real $10 super chat. Like it was a real $10 super chat. See, when they super chatted, and I guess StreamYard is, I guess they're just gonna have to work out the bugs. So what I'm gonna do here,
right?
If you guys will give me just a second, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring up the video on my end, and I'm gonna isolate the chat so that I can still see the chat. Because again, my apologies, guys. I mean, I thought that StreamYard would show us all of the chats, but it did not. Looks like it's got some bugs to work out, but I'm gonna go ahead and put those up now. Just give me just a second. Pop out chat. Did she kick your ass? All right, that's Devin. She just got back from the personal trainer that I pay upwards of $600 a month to keep her ass in shape. All right, there we go. Okay, so now I've got the real chat up. My apologies, guys. I had no idea that we could not see the super chats. This is the this is the most super chats we have ever gotten on a Redline. So, all right, let's see. I'm going to read some of the comments here. Okay, that was Tim Allen. Okay. So Tim Allen, the guy who asked about the ex-girlfriend, and again, I apologize for not getting to these. I didn't realize that these weren't up here. He said, I'm cued in at work. He said, but the other day I was leaving for the military as soon as we broke up. During our first breakup, she was begging for me to take her back for a year, and I eventually did. Then he says she wanted to go see a couples therapist. Give me a second. And that really fucked with me. I felt like it made me weak. My problem, give me a second. Forgive me for this choppy stuff. Yeah, StreamYards is going to have to. Okay. He said, my problem was I had a hard time getting over the people she slept with while we were broken up. Yeah, that happens. You're just going to listen. Again, when you and your woman are broken up, or if you take a break, she is going to sleep with other people. You have to understand, guys, women can get dick simply for existing. It is very easy for women to get laid. It's not easy for men to get laid. So if you guys ever take a break, for every woman that you sleep with, I can promise you she slept with 5 dudes. It sucks, but that's the case here. All right, let's see here. All right. Rico Suave says, if you happen to reply to a woman when tensions are high, watch your tone, fellas. That threatening tone is a real thing. She may feel threatened and call the cops. Then things get real. I agree. Okay. I was wondering why we weren't seeing anything in the chat. I was like, are guys not participating? I open up the chat. We've got $100 in super chats waiting on us. Okay. Tal the Wanderer says hypergamy doesn't care. George, the Sultan Bruno, is in the house making an appearance. He says, my thoughts. When you win an argument with a woman, what did you really win? Yeah, that's a good point. Very, very good point. All right. So yeah, so getting back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier in terms of the manosphere at large, you're absolutely right. And listen, Steve, I mean, my dad didn't teach me anything. I learned game from the internet. I'm one of the I'm one of the products or one of the byproducts of sort of learning this. I didn't really learn game, right? I learned how to sleep with women, but just because you know how to sleep with women doesn't mean you have game. Because Steve, I'm sure you can probably speak to this. There are a lot of men out here who can sleep with who can sleep with women, a lot of men who sleep with women, but they don't really have much game, right? Like their life is all about pussy. And I was actually talking with a consultation client of mine earlier today. I said, dude, when you make your life all about pussy, when you hit a slump, and you will absolutely hit a slump, then what do you have? This is why when you say women are a perk and not a necessity, this is what men need to internalize. Men don't need women, guys. We do not need women. Women need us. We do not need them. We love women very much. We love sex. We love the company. We love the companionship that they give us. But there aren't 41 and 42-year-old men writing articles about I'm 42 and single. No, only women do that because women define their self-worth by the man that they can get. Steve, and I guess this is sort of a broad sweeping question.
Yeah.
How can I put this? You just like you said, guys like you and ARC, you guys had game before they called it game, before there was the internet.
Well, even George Bruno.
George is another guy.
And I want to say this because there's someone that has been fucking with him on Twitter, and I don't like to get into that mess, but motherfucker, I recognize game, Donovan. Game recognize game.
That's right.
And motherfuckers that don't know George motherfucking Bruno, the reason y'all don't know him because he cold. Hey, I'm
telling you, man.
He's cold with the game. But see, when you cold with the game, that's the thing, Donovan. I'm ready to get you for your question, but I just want to say,
go ahead. Got it.
You cold with the game, Donovan. The ones that are cold don't put their business out on the street of how cold they are.
Right.
You don't have to prove what you are. You can recognize I've only known George for a few months now. When I first met him, I knew.
You already know. Yep.
Hey, I already knew hands down. And I will always defend that position. But no, go ahead and ask your question. I'm sorry, dog. I just wanted to make sure that is known. But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. Do you think it's possible in today's culture, in this day and age, to run the type of game that guys like you and George and ARC used to run? Or has it had to evolve?
No, okay. The wheel has always worked since the beginning of time. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And the wheel still works today. Am I correct?
That's right.
Was a lion in 24 BC? Yes. Was a lion in 1924? Yes.
No,
is a lion going to be in 2836? Yes.
That's right.
The thing is that what gives us an advantage is that we had to get off our we had to get off our butts. I don't cut. We had to get off our duffs to go talk to women. So what we did was we learned how to do it, ready for this, the right and proper way. Without trying to be somebody I'm not trying to use a trick and a gimmick or talking to you about stuff. Well, what are you doing and how was your last day and would you like to go to I don't have time for all that. We went in like a lion, bit their neck and took them right up the tree. Why does it work today? Because women salivate for real men that come at them like real men. Real men that say, you know what? Yeah. You're attractive, but hey, what you bringing to the table? What you doing for me? And that's where the element goes wrong. There's the involvement. The involvement comes from now. Check this, Donovan. When these guys went into the streets and stole a piece of the game, what have you noticed? They took it first. It was all about seduction and fake seduction and pickup and all this other stuff. Then guess what? They evolved it to being some called indirect, and it evolved to NLP, and it evolved to pickup lines, and it's always ever evolving. But you're evolving something that has nothing to do with the game. So that's the problem, Donovan. They're evolving something that they learned from somebody who stole it from somebody who was really the real thing. And they took that and kept evolving it. So it doesn't matter what you evolve because it's never the game, because the game ain't about women, but that's all they make it about. Everything's got to be about the women. How to pick up the women right now, how to get it right now, fast and quick, how to get a kiss tonight, how to sleep with her tonight. That's what they're doing. So they're always looking for the next best gimmick or trick to show these young men who are thirsty and who act like mommy and who don't want to take responsibility, sir.
No, listen, what you just said reminds me of a game that we used to play in elementary school. You may have played it. So the teacher, all of you and your classmates, about 20, 25, you line up all in a line, and the teacher will tell something to the first student.
Telephone.
Yeah, there you go. And you repeat what you heard all the way at the end. And it's never the same at the end. Well, this is what's happened with game. And Steve, I actually addressed this briefly when I was down in Florida. I was in the Florida Keys, about the kid who was in the chat. I don't think his name was Alfonso or Ralph or something, about how game is archaic and all you need is looks and money. Guys who say all you need is looks and money, this is exactly why men who step to women like men, this is why they're winning, because they don't rely on gimmicks. But listen, back in the day, Steve, if a man had money and all this other kind of stuff, that he didn't lead with his wallet. He just stepped to her like a man. He literally just kind of used the mode one approach. Hey, listen, I find you attractive. Let's do something. That's how it was.
Donovan, check this out. See, what these young men don't understand is that, everybody thinks it's pimps, max players, that it's just black people. And that's not the truth. That's not true. It's not. They were Italian gangsters, mob bosses, Japanese kings and emperors.
Yeah.
Okay? They all were all about themselves and power. The women, the reason that the women wanted them was because, just like in nature, they want to breed with the top dog. So the women would put themselves in a place. If it was at the Cotton Club or it was at an event where she, okay, what can I do to put myself in front of this guy so hopefully he will notice me? That's what it was about. Because these guys didn't care, because they were getting so much ass that they didn't care. And that's what I'm talking about today. And that's what a lot of young guys don't understand. And when I tell a guy, I tell him, guys like me, guys that roll like me, guys that I know, we don't make it about sex, because we already fucking as soon as we start talking.
There you go.
I'm already unbuttoning her shirt. I'm already pulling her panties down mentally. So I don't need to smash. I need to know, what are you going to bring to my table that separates you from all the rest of the other women that I have on my roster? That's what but see, that's about the perk. That's not the game.
Right.
The game is about you growing as a man and not going your own way. I don't even understand that. I just don't understand how these internet guys be coming up with. It's just like they just close their eyes and throw a dart on the board and say, and like I said before, man, look, this is a can of Sprite, okay? It is not a brush. It is not a BTR or CKE or BWA. All these acronyms, it's like these guys, they are
trying their language.
Yeah, they try to teach and push like a cult, a language that you are supposed to learn, but then you're supposed to learn it, and then all of a sudden turn it off when you get in front of a real woman. It doesn't work that way.
This is why guys run into trouble.
Yes.
And they're trying to explain the red pill to men and women. This is why we say don't talk about the red pill. Just be red pill. Just be a man. Right? Because then when you, and I tell my guys this all the time. If you're sitting down with your buddies, dude, don't talk about hypergamy, the cock carrot. Dude, listen, man, none of that stuff matters, right? Like all of the lingo is shorthand for other things. I got a question in here from Gakaface. He says, what about when a woman argues with you? For example, what about when a woman instigates an argument? Well, if Cacaface was listening,
Yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, if he was listening at the beginning of the show, if a woman just thinks that she can just start an argument with you, then you never had her respect. Listen, man, Devin gets upset with me. We are a couple. This is just what happens. But she's not just going to walk into my house and just start talking to me any old kind of way. The reason she does this is because she respects me, right? If your woman just starts dude, Devin has never started an argument with me over anything, right? If there are concerns, okay, she'll bring that up, but she's never she never gets out of pocket in that regard because of the respect. So if a woman just all of a sudden starts an argument with you, whether you know her or not, dude, you don't have her respect.
Yeah. Hey, Donna, let me tell you something. One of my boys had this bad joint. She was a real tight looking joint and everything. So she thought because she looked good, and she thought because she have all these guys on the internet running behind her and kissing her ass, and she thought she could talk to one of my boys as if
shit,
a cake. You know what he did? She started trying to raise his voice.
What? Wait, say what?
Yeah, right. Try to raise it. You know what he say? He said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I can go out my house right now and find 5 bitches that look just like you. Right. But you'll never find another motherfucker like me. And you know what? Matter of fact, kick rocks. Get out. I'm done with you. Like you remember what Wesley Snipes did in New Jack?
Yep.
Like you like pouring the liquor on the thing where that bitch is gone. Get it out of here. He did it. And all she doing for the last 3 fucking months is blow his phone up. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Pussy picture, titty picture, body picture. I'm sorry. Please call me. I didn't mean it. I was having a bad day. I was on my period. Every excuse in the moon. Yeah. But see, that's the power that you have as a man. When you know she's replaceable, there's no arguments. Listen, Donovan, don't get me wrong. You're going to have disagreements.
Of course. And listen, if she wants something or if she needs something from you, okay, right.
But a disagreement doesn't have to get to a full-blown yelling match where the woman is talking about your mom, your dad, the way you talk and all. It doesn't have to get like that. Listen, a woman or your girlfriend is allowed to have an opinion. Please understand this, guy. I don't want y'all to think that they can't have an opinion. It's what I'm saying is that you can tell me your opinion without you raising your voice. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. You are allowed to disagree with what I think and what I feel. It's not a dictatorship, Donovan, but you're going to do it in a respectful fucking manner.
That's right.
Period. Donovan?
Listen, I completely and totally agree. We always say 2 heads are better than 1. And again, this isn't to say that, and we talk in hyperbole circles, right? Women are good for nothing but sex. Okay, all right, fine. If we're gonna keep it all the way real, we know that women are good for more than just sex. All of that said, women don't really have much utility to a man outside of sex, and maybe if she earns a living. I've got all the cerebral brawn I need. I don't need a smart woman. If a woman is dumb, okay, whatever. As long as she looks good, cooks good and listens good, that's fine. She didn't have to be a brain surgeon, okay? But by the same token, I don't need an intelligent woman. Just be able to carry a conversation. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather date a dumb hottie than a smart fatty. So let's just get that straight. To me, that's just an added bonus. But just like Steve said, women do have their utility. They do have their uses. Women are people too, guys. They are allowed to have an opinion. But the difference between a woman who respects her man and a woman who does not is the way she voices that opinion, is the way she brings things to her, brings things to his attention. I'll actually tell you a quick story. This is actually, I don't know, maybe a month and a half after Devin and I moved in. I'll never, ever forget this. So she sits down. I think I'm sitting on the couch. She sits down. She's like, all right, Donovan, I have to talk to you about something. It's sort of a roommate thing. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, what is it? She's like, well, you left dental floss on my soap and it's kind of gross. So next time, can you? I said, whoa. I said, let me explain something to you. I'm not your roommate. I'm your boyfriend. Okay. You're not going to talk to me in a condescending way like a roommate. And she never did it again. And I said, if it was so fucking gross, you should have just moved the floss yourself. She hasn't done that. She hadn't done that since. Right. So she didn't come at me trying to start an argument, but she came at me in a very condescending way. I checked her and she hasn't even come. Dude, this is almost 2 years ago. The point I'm trying to make here, guys, is just like Steve said, they have to bite the gold to make sure it's real. Okay. Your woman is not going to know what's against the rules if you don't allow her to trip and fall. We have guys, I don't care if she fucks up one time, she's gone. Dude, no. You get one strike, just like you said. You get one warning, and then that's it. Okay? After that, then you start taking action. But women are allowed to have opinions. That's just this is how it works. Yeah. It's the way they voice those opinions.
Yeah, she's here's the thing, and yeah, what a lot of y'all guys understand. She's all she's trying to figure out is what can I get away with this guy, and all she's also trying to figure out is who is the top and who's the bottom bitch.
There you go.
Who wants who more, and whoever wants whoever more is going to put up with more bullshit. And 9 times out of 10, you guys come into this game thirsty. See, this is where it comes in there because y'all are worshiping women more than you worship yourself.
Oh, wow.
You guys should be thinking like this every day. Every day you wake up, this is how you should think. Because I only worship me. I don't worship no goddamn woman. I worship me. Matter of fact, after this show is over with, I'm going to go to the police station and I'm going to put a fucking restraining order out on my ass because I love me so much. That's how you supposed to think, bro. Come
on. Oh, Steve, you are stupid. You're talking about a restraining order. We're talking about TPOs and shit. Eric Extraordinaire is talking about somebody. He said, I never stepped to the hot ones. Felt good. I'm going to try it again tonight.
Oh, God.
Said she had fake tits, asking how old I thought she was. I said, are those your tits? Well, you're probably 29 because you couldn't afford them if you were 21. Okay.
This is where y'all mess up. If she asks you how old you are, why don't you say, why don't we discuss this over ice cream, coffee, or feeding? See, this is what I'm talking about with these young guys. You don't even see a woman dropping a handkerchief and trying to see if you bite, or you don't even realize or notice when someone might be interested in you.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all have got your head so messed up that you rather start an argument with a woman instead of taking what she's saying. Well, do you want to guess how old I am? Hey, you know what? I don't know, but guess what? Here's my number. Why don't you call me? Let's set something up and we can discuss your age over ice cream. See how simple that is, Donovan?
It is.
Simple.
It is.
Come on, man.
Not everybody's the dean, Steve. Not everybody's the dean.
No, but they need to learn that. Yeah, man.
I think that's gonna do it. Devin and I are going to we're gonna hook up the Nintendo here. We're gonna order pizza. We're gonna hook up the Nintendo. We're gonna play Nintendo games tonight. That's what we're gonna do tonight. Big thanks goes to Hoki Bukisa with the $5 super chat. Al Rafai with the $10 super chat. There were 2 other $5 super chats. They erased their messages. Hoki Bukisa with the $50 super chat. Mr. E1976 with the $5 super chat. Dialer String with the $2 super chat. Then Dialer String with a $25 super chat. Appreciate that. Okay, so Eric Extraordinaire says, I was showing her boldness and I can't be Carlton Banks to a white chick. What do you say to that?
He said he can't be Carlton Banks. So what did he say again?
Yeah, talking about the fake tits. I guess that I was showing her boldness.
Come on, dog.
Banks.
Can we stop lying here? Look, dog. I'm saying this out of love. Come on, dog. Stop lying to yourself. Come on, dude. Y'all make so many excuses. Why don't y'all stop lying to yourselves? The truth of the matter is, just being real with yourself, big dog. You were nervous. You didn't know what to say, so you just tried to do I don't know, with them nag or a nag or whatever that PUA jargon shit that they taught you years ago. You thought it'd be better for you to say something smart alecky to her. But for me, I want to put my dick between them titties by allowing her to go out with me, being lucky enough to go out with me to see if she's worth my time for me to put my dick on her forehead. But again, I don't know if these guys really want women. I don't know that anymore, Donovan. I don't know if they want to date women because all I see are guys acting like victims, blaming, and acting catty like women. I don't know, dude. I'm trying to question it.
Well, listen, you're right, but this is, again, I had nobody, and this is no excuse, but I didn't have anybody to teach me. I had to learn game from these PUAs. Now, the weird thing is that a funny thing happens when you get good at PUA game, like the cheesy, I don't do the cheesy pickup lines. Are you from Tennessee because you're the only I don't do any of that. But yeah, I do use, like when I was in Vegas, dude, I did use, pickup artist techniques because that's all I knew. Now that I'm 42 years old, it's just a little bit different. Obviously, I'm in a relationship, but times have changed. And I say this all the time. Girls have the internet too. Girls aren't the only ones that see Tyler Durden and what's his name? Jesus Christ, all the pickup artists, the mystery method. Like girls see this stuff too. Right? So when they see that you're using like the same techniques, they're really not impressed. Now, I think there was a miscommunication with Eric Extraordinaire. So this woman who had fake tits was asking him how old he thought she was. And he said, "Are those your tits?" And he said, "Well, you're probably 29 because you couldn't afford them if you were 21.
But that's my thing. She asked him how old she thought he was, right?
Right. Listen, he freaked. Yeah, listen, he froze, right? He admitted.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Step two, she actually gave him a choosing signal, and he didn't know what to do with it.
But if he studied from the man mindset and learned how to approach women, he would have walked over there, introduced himself to her, and said, "You know what? This is why I'm talking to you because I'm interested in you. Let's do this." Boom, boom, boom. See, this is what I'm talking about. The game that was on the street before this internet shit. This is not complicated, Donovan. They're complicating this more than what it is. This is 2 + 2 is 4. It is that simple. Right. If you really want women, do you think being disrespectful, calling her, saying that if she could afford it, she's 21, you think that's going to get her pussy wet? You think that's going to make her smile, laugh, blush, think, and react? Absolutely not, dog. Come on, man.
This is a good comment in the chat here. Red Pill Mamba says PUA techniques are training wheels for the newbies. I think I would agree with that.
I don't. I'm gonna tell you why.
Disagree? All right.
Why I disagree.
Okay, go ahead.
The way you start is the way you finish.
Okay.
And the thing that you guys need to learn about the real game, it is either on you or in you. And when you start off using lies, manipulation, and tactics as a training wheel, that is how you are training yourself.
Gotcha. All right.
So what I'm just saying, for me, why can't you just walk up to the goddamn woman?
Listen, I'll tell you why, Steve. I'm going to tell you why. This is exactly why. And this literally just came to me. I think men use PUA techniques because they know that if they step to them with their real selves, they're not going to attract that woman.
Donovan, stop. Got it. You got it. Wait. So then if you're a solution-based person, then what do you have to work on?
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you got to work on yourself.
Yep.
Fuck these women. Work on yourself. And I don't mean go your own way type stuff. I'm saying work on you. Go into the lion's den and face the lion so then you can learn from the experience. See, her saying no to you doesn't make you a loser, guys.
Right.
Her rejecting you doesn't make you a loser. What makes you a loser is when you see something that you want and you don't go for it. That's what makes you a loser.
Yeah, listen, is the interesting thing is the reason why PUAs were, I mean, dude, they were huge back in the days because guys were looking for the shortcut. They were looking for the cheat code rather than develop themselves into the men that they were trying to portray to these women. What they did is they learned to put on the facade. That's really what that's what PUA techniques are, right? PUA techniques are designed to show women that you are a high value guy who has experience with women. But if you don't, you're going to kind of fall flat. Now, again, PUA techniques worked very well for me because I was very good at faking the funk. But after a while, Steve, when I was driving 3 cars and I had my 7 rental properties and my 15 tenants and making 6 figures a year, I didn't need PUA techniques. I could just be Donovan fucking Sharp, right?
Donovan, here, I just want to say this real quick to these guys out here. When I talked about this in the 21 convention. See, what y'all guys don't understand, all you guys that want to do the training wheels and all that other stuff, y'all don't know women. And what y'all got to understand is one thing. If y'all don't know anything that I've ever said in my life, you got to understand this. These women are smarter than you. Don't get I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
But it's true.
They're smarter than you. Let me tell you why they're smarter than you. And let me tell you why that you can't run game on someone that's already running game on you. See, what you guys don't realize is that makeup, that fake ass hair, the nails, the eyelashes, the push-up bra, the tight clothes, all that is deception and manipulation. Right or wrong, gentlemen? That's deception and manipulation. So they're already in the mud. So you think you're going to trick a trickster? You think you're going to try to manipulate and deceive someone that has been doing deceiving and manipulating men since the beginning of time? Using shit that's not theirs? The fake titties, deception, manipulation, everything, the eyeliner, the fake eyes, all that. That's what women do. So you think you're going to trick and run game on a trickster? It doesn't work that way. And that's why most of those guys, Donovan, that's why they always say, well, she took me to court and took all my money. And, we had a kid. Now I'm in family court. Because if you really want to play a game with someone in the mud like that, they're going to say, come on, let's play. And you are not going to win because y'all guys are under this assumption that these women are stupid. They are smarter than you. You want to know why? Because while you guys are sitting around trying to learn tricks, you don't think they watching, like Donovan said, they watching everything you do. Don't think they ain't.
That's
right. Every little pickup.
And this is why the PUA community is dying off, Steve.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, they had their run. They really did. Dude, the Tyler Durdens, the Paul Jankas, even Roosh. Dude, Roosh was running game. The Mystery Method. I mean, those guys had probably about a 10-year run where they were slaying bitches all over the place. But guess what? Women, again, they figured it out, right? They're like, wait a minute, why am all these guys are doing and saying the same things, right? And when they see men that do and say the same things and this, that, and the other, that says to them, okay, well, this is all canned. This is all just an act. No, because when she bites the gold, it's going to taste like every other fake piece of gold that she has bitten. So I understand this is why the PUA community has died off. And this is really why the red pill community has sort of evolved. Now it's about self-improvement. Now it's about building up your inner game. Listen, if you want game, improve yourself. If you get into shape, start stacking paper, learn to deal with people on a socially dominant level, then people are going to be naturally drawn to you.
Okay, but how are you improving yourself, Donovan, when you're following people that are teaching you to be more problematic and the victim and not holding you accountable for your actions? That's the problem.
Yep.
These PUAs have turned into these other factions because remember, they're looking for the next best thing. Once the gamut is over with the PUA, we got to come up with something else. You know what? Women are so bad. Okay, because I know these guys are not even getting women, and I know because they've been using those pickup lines, the women been treating them bad. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome them with open arms like the Antichrist. Welcome, come on in, guys. I understand you. You know what? Women are bad. Let's go our own way. You know what? You don't need women. You don't even need to jerk off. Let's just forget about women. You don't need them because women are bad. But what they don't understand is they created this. They created you
That's right.
mistreated by women. Now they coming around saying, okay, well, forget women. Women are the scourge of the earth. Let's just find our own.
Always something.
Yeah, it's always something, brother. It's
Yeah,
always.
I think it's, it's interesting. I think the evolution of the red pill, to me, speaks to the exploitation of men in need. Men need to be guided. Men need help. And you got a lot of these guys out here who try to pitch this, 3 things that you can say to a woman that'll make her drop her panties, right? Learn to sleep with 20 women in 20 days. It does not work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Can you sleep with 20 women in 20 days? Yes, but it's going to take you a lot longer than 20 days to get to a point to where you can do that, right? And this is when the light bulb goes on. Oh, wait a minute. Being good with women really has nothing to do with being good with women, right? The more you focus on yourself and the more the more you improve your life, and I guess what they're saying now, on your purpose, on your mission, the more women are going to be attracted to you as a natural byproduct of their nature. It's just how it is.
Well, Donovan, there's someone in the thing that said 40 trying to find a wife is no easy task. I'm pointing it out, what it's like without game. Well, here's the question. There's 2 problems in this. Why are you trying to find a wife? Why don't you find yourself first and have a woman want to find a husband in you? Number 2, what it's like without game. Then if you don't have game, why aren't you finding a mentor to teach you what you know? See, y'all guys can, on this show where I'm on with my dog Donovan, we are going to hold you accountable. We're not going to have a pity pillow cuddling party to make you feel good. No, I'm holding you accountable because, hey, let me ask you a question. If I did it at 9 years old, what's your excuse? If I knew I wanted it that bad at 9 years old, what is your excuse at being 40 without game because you choose not to learn and pick up a mentor? Talk to me, Donovan.
Listen, you're 100% right. There is, at this point, with all the information out there, and I know there's a lot of information out there. I know a lot of it is convoluted, and it seems that every time a certain market gets saturated, and this is where you're talking about, when the market gets saturated, when there's too many guys talking about the same thing, let's try to carve out another part of the red pill and call it BWIGTOW. Let's call it AMTEL. There's always some sort of acronym or some sort of group. Listen, all this comes down to is giving yourself permission to be a man and then doing it. That's it. That's it. Rico Suave says, Donovan and Steve, do you guys do consults? Yeah. Steve does consults, themanmindset.com. You guys can book a consultation there, or you can go to donovansharp.com/consults. Neither one of us are cheap, so you can take your pick in that regard.
Right. Good look for him. It's my birthday month, so I've got discounts on all products as well as coaching. So it is.
Oh, and it's my birthday month too. How about that?
I mean, Leo, baby. Are you a Virgo or Leo?
I'm a Leo.
Well, that's how we smell our own, dog. Yeah.
Wow, we might have the same birthday. I'm gonna have to.
Well, no, August 21st, dog. August 21st. So.
Okay. All right. Well, my birthday is not August 21st.
Okay. So yeah, but so
big thanks to Nova Roma. Says her gynecologist knows her better than her man. More than likely. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Redline. Tune in tomorrow morning at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, where we are going to be on, I think it's episode 77 of the Redman Group, and we are going to be discussing, oh my God, I've already forgotten.
Why nice guys finish last.
You nice guys finish
last.
Do nice guys really finish last? That'll be a very interesting conversation. I think we're probably going to be joined by DDJ and somebody else, but should make for a good show. So, Steve, any last words before we pull this bad boy?
As always, I want to say thank you, but yeah, I think I'm gonna do a live show tonight on thirst. We got to really teach guys what thirsty is. So I think I'm gonna do a show on that, punch some people in the chest and stuff. But other than that, Donovan, as well, as always, I enjoy being with you. And guys, don't forget, this is being brought to you by Tactical Silk. Also, the
Sure.
tour convention in October. Make sure y'all cop those tickets because y'all gonna have some great speakers up there that are gonna teach you a lot of stuff that you really need to know. That's all I want to say, Donovan.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for this edition of the Red Line. We will see you guys next week for the Red Line. We'll see you tomorrow for the Red Man Group.